Hi, my Facebook friends and family. It's that time. It's Facebook Live. That time for me to join you for this evening hour. I'm in my new ambiance, and my room is very special. It's a library, and I've been playing with different locations, so I would love it if you all give a thumbs up. This is the library room. And you saw me I went live on Sunday. I snuck up on you guys that normally watch me on Thursdays and you didn't know. And I did a live. Hi, Mary. Yay. You always start my evening with a smile. So this is the library. What do you think? Check it out. It looks very library-ish. I have some new lighting in here and stuff, so hopefully it works. And you guys tell me what you think. We're going to do this chat thing that we do on Thursday nights. It's been a long day. I feel like I was just here 5 minutes ago. The week blew past. So I don't know if you ever have that where you just have a week where you are running from one space to the other. Oh, you like it. Thanks, Mary. I have my little scarf on. I look very kind of like I'm in an English library, or I'm an English librarian or something. I have no idea. Us Californians are so wimpy because it gets 60 degrees and we're like freaking out like, oh my God, I'm freezing. And I have 3 layers of clothes on and I'm indoors. Okay, so we're a little wimpy. Just show us some love. Show us some love, y'all that are toughing it out back east, freezing, or in Europe or wherever you are, freezing. Show us some love out here in California. We don't get it, you know, it's always sunny, Southern California, so we really don't get the cold weather, but it's kind of fun to have it. So we get sick and tired of it being hot. It's always hot. Hi, Lynn Adams. My friends are joining in now. This is super fun. You guys have had a crazy week. Like, I've just been running from one thing to the other, and I can't even catch my breath. Have you ever had a week like that? So I know y'all know I'm really hyper. Hi, Heather. Good to see you. I'm glad you're joining in. So this is fun. This is what I do on Thursday nights. Other people go out and hang out with their family or friends. I do this. This keeps me sane. This is my sober time. This is my mental health time. This is the way that I give back and be of service to others. So if you haven't seen this before, it's going to be fun. So kind of strap yourself in and join me for a little ride. Tonight we're talking about forgiveness. Dear God, you guys hit me up. Thank you, Lynn. You guys hit me up and forgiveness kept coming up as a topic that you wanted me to share and you to share with me. And every week on these lives, you guys send me messages, tell me what you want to hear, what you want to talk about. If you share anything on the live, remember we are live, so everybody else is seeing it too. And I read your comments and I try to help guide you. This is a public service. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, but I am not acting as a therapist. I am not seeing you as a client. We're not entering into any kind of agreement. You're just watching a show like watching a public speaker. And hopefully it inspires you or gives you guidance or gets you on the right track. And if you're struggling with addiction or you're struggling with depression, anxiety, and you need help right away, I want you to get help in your area. I want you to contact a therapist. There's local counseling centers. Some of them are even free. If you go to the local universities, you can get free counseling. So really, I do this to inspire you that if your issues are deeper than just sitting on Thursday nights having a nice little chat with me, that you go get some help for yourself, okay? Like, it is possible for everybody, and therapy is an amazing tool. And my favorite is EMDR. EMDR is a type of therapy that is magnificent, and my clients just rave about it. It's magical to help deal with trauma, anxiety, especially post-traumatic stress symptoms, if you've had a frightening or difficult event that you want to get through. And don't you know that's a daily occurrence in our world these days, our little frightening events. We're getting way too used to and familiar to having tragic events happen to us on a daily basis, right? This is so wrong. It's frightening, and it's so wrong. And none of us, those kids, those parents, us, no, none of us deserves to be part of or witness or have our lives taken away needlessly by insanity, you know? And that's what's been going on. And I'm hoping and believing and praying for all of us that we continue to find a way to manage ourselves better when it comes to the safety of our family and our children and protecting ourselves with or without guns or weapons, that there needs to be some oversight. We're missing that point, aren't we? On how to protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe. And I guess, oh my gosh, I always wind up going into these deep subjects when I start talking, but it just touches my heart. You know, I've lost people to needless and senseless things before, you know, whether it's suicide or drug overdose or addiction or car crashes, cancer, and all kinds of stuff. But this kind of violence, just random like that, is just so hard for any of us to understand or any of us to wrap our brains around. And I guess if we're going to talk about forgiveness, why not talk about this subject, right? You know, how do those parents forgive this young man who was obviously not in his right mind, who went out and acted so violently and carelessly and needlessly towards their children? You know, how do they heal the path to forgiveness? You know, I guess we should look at ourselves a little bit and think that if those parents have to get over such a tragedy like that and find forgiveness in their heart, then we can find forgiveness for the little things that maybe we're dealing with on a daily basis, right? I was thinking how my family always told me I talk too much. And, whoa, voila, here I am talking, hopefully not too much. So, you know, I always took it as a dig or a negative, but it didn't stop me from talking. I loved to do it, and I still love to do it. And now hopefully building a career doing it, a career of some sorts, right? So there you go. So I've forgiven them for telling me that I talk too much. And that's the least of the things that I've had to forgive in my life. Tell me things that you're struggling to forgive people for. Some of the stuff we've talked about in the past is like a relationship where you've been cheated on. Somebody's lied to you. A friend stood you up, promised you to follow through with something and didn't, or your kids lied to you. Do you guys have stuff like that too? I mean, I'm sure you do. So I want you to tell me a little bit about what are the things that you're struggling in people to forgive and why, and how come it's so hard for you to let go. I had so many incidences over this last year, and I guess one of the weird ones is, hi, Kelly Kettle. One of the strangest one is just forgiving myself, my body, or God, however you want to think about this, for getting cancer. Here, I'm a person who's always taken really good care of themselves physically and works out and eats well, and I'm very mindful of what I put in my body and always trying to take care of myself and better myself. And I got cancer, and it's not pretty. It's frightening. It's terrifying. And it came, and it was a shock. I'm still shocked by it. I'm in remission. I guess that's what you call it. I don't know that you're ever really in remission, but it's not showing its ugly head right now. It's been about 2 years. And my first instinct was to hit something. So I had an amazing girlfriend of mine who called me and said, okay, what's the news? And I go, it effing sucks. That's the news. And then she said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to hit something. And the first thing we did was drive to a boxing ring. And we literally hit something. We got in there in the bags because I used to do kickboxing and teach it, and I love it. And that's what I had to do. And once I got past the anger and let that first go, things started to get more clear for me. So I want you to tell me, when you're angry or hurt with someone, how hard is it for you to let go of that anger and hurt? Like, how often do you repeat it and talk about it over and over again to friends or family or whoever it is that wronged you, that you just keep telling them the story over and over again? Have you guys ever experienced that? I'm getting lots of hearts. We do that because our brain is trying to wrap around letting it go. And our brain is saying, but you hit me, or you violated me, or you lied to me, or you cheated on me. How do I let this go? So your mind is struggling and fighting to get that answer. And in that expression and feeling of anger or resentment or hurt, it takes a while to get on the other side of understanding. And for me, punching a bag was an immediate road. Like when I could release that anger, I could sit back and accept whatever circumstances were happening. It just happened to be cancer. Heather's asking something, forgiving myself for a decision I had to make at 13 and forgiving the person who caused me, I'm reading this, Heather, to have to make that decision. I feel you, sister, and I'm reading between the lines about what that's about. And absolutely is when something comes to us, cancer, a death, a friend's tragedy, our own tragedy, an unwanted situation, whether that's finding ourselves rescuing a friend who's harboring, from maybe they stole something, or maybe they have drugs on their possession, or maybe they got pregnant and it's an unwanted pregnancy. Whatever that thing is that we're harboring and that we're holding on to, absolutely so difficult to forgive ourselves for that part, and for having a part in it. What I want to say to you is in our lives, things come to us that we are not prepared for. And at 13 years old, there's so very little that you're prepared for. Your mind is not fully developed. Your hormones are racing. You are a child who has just entered into the stage of adolescence where we don't know anything and we think we know it all, and we start telling everyone in the world we got this when we ain't got this. We're little children trying to grow up, and sometimes we jump in and risk and do things to feel more mature, like having sex, premaritally or any kind of sex, doing drugs, drinking, sometimes cheating at school or skipping school or whatever. As young people, we start doing these risky behaviors because we think that makes us grown up because we're making decisions. And then sometimes those decisions turn around and bite us in the tushy and they hurt us. And we realize we risked too much. And we weren't careful with ourselves and with our hearts and with our bodies. And it's so sad to wake up and recognize it. Yet it is your job, and it is my job, Heather. Go back and forgive that 13-year-old. This woman sitting here now, the adult woman that you're sitting here with, and we're talking right now, you're not that person. And you have to love that 13-year-old. Don't leave her where she felt ashamed and guilty and wrong and hurt. Go back and bring her back with you. This is a thing I talk about all the time on my lives. It's inner child work. In this case, it's inner teen work. But go back and have a conversation about that. Go back and tell that 13-year-old, you did the best you could with what you had. You were believing that it was going to be different. You didn't know where this decision was going to take you. You made a mistake, and it's okay. It's okay to admit yourself, no matter how big of a mistake it was also part of your destiny. I believe in that. I believe in being divinely guided and ordained to move through our lives in a way that is kind of destined for us so that we can learn and become the amazing person that we're being right now. So I want you to comment in. I want you to send some love to Heather. And Heather, you tell that 13-year-old, you did the best you could. And we move forward from that, and we get to choose to make better decisions today. But you were not equipped, honey, at 13 to deal with whatever came to you, and love yourself for it. And here's another part of the forgiveness equation. If you are a child in a home with parents that don't have the resource emotionally to support you, that don't give you love, don't give you guidance, they're drunk, they're splitting up, they're angry, they're not home, they're workaholics, they're TVaholics, they're unavailable, or they're rigid, they're angry, they're controlling, they're perfectionistic. These are different styles of parenting that leave you without guidance, without support, and without nurturing. And if you're in that situation, or you were growing up, then you as the teenager had no compass and you had to figure it out for yourself. And when you went and made, decisions that turned out to be painful or wrong or hurtful, whatever, You hit yourself, up against the wall and said, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to myself. But you have to remember you didn't have the guidance and the support. So now we got to get into forgiving the parents. Forgive the teenager for being a teenager and making a decision that wasn't the best. And then forgive the parents for not being available so that you couldn't trust them to go to them and to share with them your pain and your story. Is that making sense? Are you feeling me? Are you following me? You out there in Facebook land with me? All right, so I want more of you to comment. Mary, you're processing. So also comment. Mary likes to wow, think it through in her head and then tell me about it later, tomorrow, and 3 days from now. Now would be good. Heather, I honestly don't know where I'd be in life without my mom. She was there then and she still is there for me now. And you are so blessed, Heather. And so thank God, see? And so that changed your world. That allowed you to get through something very painful, and you can honor and love and respect your mom for that. And you can also know that she's precious and she's exceptional. And not all mothers are like that. Not all mothers are wired to be mothers. Sometimes we make babies, and babies don't make a mama or a mother. Babies are just becoming babies. You're biologically, that's your parent. But just because you have a child doesn't mean you know how to parent them or that you do it well. So you're blessed to have that situation. How do you forgive the people? So tell me other situations, you guys. Chime in and tell me other situations that you're struggling with forgiveness about. I had a huge one last year, but I don't want to just keep talking about myself, but I will. Some of you that are listening, just type in and tell me some of the situations you need help with. How do you start forgiving? Laugh out loud. Mary, you're so right. My entire childhood in a nutshell. Amen. If it's your childhood, so you have a lot to forgive. One of the ways you notice that you're struggling with forgiveness is when you're carrying resentment in the present. And when people in your life show up that kind of remind you of people in the past that have hurt you, this is not a conscious thing. But let's say you have a coworker, an employee, or a boss who is a little rude or aggressive in a way, maybe disrespectful, and you're tangling with them constantly, and you keep trying to have your voice heard, and they don't listen, and they continue to disrespect you. Well, if you grew up in a home with disrespect, this is going to be a huge trigger for you, and you're never going to feel safe in that situation. So one of the things that you have to do is get right with yourself and say, I can't be in situations where I'm being disrespected. It's not okay, whether it's a boss, an employee, a friend, whoever it is. And I can't just keep showing up with resentment, working and doing this job and having this relationship, but resenting the hell out of it because I'm hurting myself. See, forgiving them sometimes is liberating yourself. Letting yourself free and off the hook of carrying the burden of resentment and hurt that's between you and this person. And maybe that person doesn't deserve forgiveness. That's possible. Maybe their crime is so heinous that you can't forgive them because it was bad. It was ugly. It was painful. They abused you, whatever the case may be. But you holding on to it, you're holding yourself hostage to that memory and to that traumatic event and to that horrific relationship. Okay, chime in here. Here's Will. Sorry, you guys, I have to look down because I just can't see that well. That's the real truth. I keep believing I am strong enough to have just a few drinks and then, oh, wow, okay. So, hey, Will. Thanks, Mary. Okay, so send some love to Will. And Will, the topic's about forgiveness. And let's talk about forgiving yourself about I'm not strong enough. So recovery is not about being strong enough. It's not about self-will. There's an expression in Alcoholics Anonymous that says self-will run riot. It's you running on your own steam gets you exactly where you've always been, which is at the bottom of that drink. So it is a disease of the mind, body, and spirit. This ain't the subject about forgiveness, but I'm super passionate about helping addicts and alcoholics and people who are suffering to get into recovery. So you need help and support. You can't do that by yourself. And it's not because you're not strong enough. It's because you have an addiction and a disease of the mind. And it is more powerful That is what the problem is. The disease is insidious and it is more powerful. And that obsession, once it starts, it owns you. And you have to fight the obsession, but you need help to put distance between you and that first drink. So I want you all to send love and support to my friend here, Will, and let him know there's a program for you. I don't care if you had a drink tonight. When you're done with me, go walk and look on the computer. There's online 12-step programs. Find a fellowship of love and support. Go see a therapist. Go see a physician that might help you. Maybe you have other underlying mental health issues, depression or anxiety or OCD, that's activating this addiction in you. Maybe you have a hormone imbalance and that's why you're choosing alcohol, to try to level yourself out. You guys, this isn't about will and strength. Okay? This is about illness and it's about asking for help. And this live is all about that. Asking for help and giving it. Give each other the help and the love. Julie, if this applies, I'm angry with God. Amen, Julie. Watching my mom go through 14 major surgeries in the past 4 years, so much pain, and died 7 months ago. Oh my God, Julie. Oh, Julie, I know, I don't know if you were at the beginning of the live, and I know we've been talking, and I think you're newer, and I don't know if you've watched my past lives when I've talked about my cancer. I can't imagine if my cancer comes back and continues to take me on that hard road, hard way to heaven, so to speak, how my children would feel and what they would do. And I can say this to you, I already know that your mother faced those things with bravery. I already know that she was courageous, because to go through 14 major surgeries, because there's a point you could say to a physician, no more, I am done with this. This is not working for me. So you are describing to me a warrior and somebody who fought, and everything in her wants you to hold on to that. Yes, she had pain. And yes, I have had pain. And everybody, please send love and say and send your condolences to Julie. And Julie, I'm right there with you, sweetheart. And I can tell you, every time I walked into surgery, I walked in believing that it was going to make a difference in my life. It has, but it is not guaranteed for me, because once you have cancer, it comes and it comes and it comes. And so I never know what my destiny is now. And I know in living with my children, what I try to show them is the brave, strong, fearless woman that believes that I am here for whatever purpose and for whatever time that I am meant to be on this planet. And it is not fair when people we love are taken more quickly than they wanted or more quickly than we anticipated. And all I can think is her little body could not take one more ounce of pain and couldn't be in there anymore. Her spirit was too great for that physical body, and she didn't deserve to be trapped in it anymore. And it sucks. Okay, I said it live, Facebook. There's no way to ever reconcile that. And we can say all the wonderful spiritual things that I believe with everything in me to guide you and support you, but you get to feel the pain of it. But just know, what does your mother want for you? What does she want more than anything for you? She wants you to triumph. What is anyone's mom? And if you had that shitty mom, then you don't know what I'm talking about. Then I'm telling you, I want that for you. As a human being, as a woman, as a sister, as a friend, as a guide, as a therapist, as a bleeding heart for recovery and healing and helping people, I want you to see the beauty in you, and I want you to celebrate that. And when we lose people that we love, it is tragic, but please forgive the universe for taking them, or forgive God for taking them, if that's your belief, and that's where you're sitting right now, in that resentment. And forgive them for not having a body that could function any better. And forgive them for being ready to go when the time came, because I imagine that she surrendered and was ready to go because she didn't want to have pain anymore. None of us want to carry around pain. It makes me emotional just telling you that. So, because I know that feeling, and I can imagine what it was like for her to have to fight that. Okay, so Julie, I know from being a person on the other side of that, I know what your mom wants for you is just to love. She wants you to celebrate her. She wants you to remember her. She wants you to honor her. And every time that you cry or you get angry or you feel about her, she's alive in you. She's right here. She's with you and she's with me and us, all of us right now that are talking about her. So send more love and you guys to Julie. I don't know. This is what happens when I start talking. So I feel it in my heart. Thank you for sending her your condolences too. Okay. We'll reach out. You recognize that? That is the first step. Lynn, what is the long-term effect if you are unable to forgive someone? Lynn, you asked such good questions. Thanks, Gina. Try to forgive God. You're welcome, Julie. Lynn, the long-term effects of not forgiving someone is anger. And anger over long periods of time actually turns into anxiety and stress. And stress in your body over long periods of time or even short periods of time, but with high intensity, releases cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that's a stress manager. And when it is out of whack, you are out of whack. Your sleep is out of whack. Your ability to function is out of whack. Your ability to focus, follow through with things. You start being neglectful of the people around you. When you're so caught up in being angry and being hurt and in resentment, you are not available for the people around you who love you. And I know that firsthand. So over a year ago now, I went through a very painful family altercation, separation. I don't know what it was, confrontation, all of those Asians, alienation, whatever. Think of some more because my brain just is laughing about that one. But I went through this thing and I couldn't let it go. Like literally, I feel like it's taken a year. And that's going to make me sound cuckoo. Hi, Deborah. But it's taken me a year to let go of the anger and resentment. I had to talk about it over and over again. And there was a point where I felt consumed by it. What do you do if someone will not forgive you? Oh, I'll tell you that next. Lynn, still talking to Lynn, but I'm talking to y'all too. I was consumed by it. And I started to feel that consumption. I started to feel the heaviness in my heart. And I thought, I am sick and tired of thinking of these people and feeling hurt by them because they confronted me, because they have a very negative picture of me, because they don't believe me when I give amends, because they didn't accept my apology when I begged for forgiveness. I am tired of it. I'm tired of carrying them around with me. I'm tired of how it makes me feel. And I'm tired of, if you don't see me for who I am, I can't change that for you. And I have to get an acceptance that you may never see me the way that I am. And maybe that's why you attacked me or came after me or criticized or belittled me or rejected me. And maybe that's okay. And my job is not to fix that, but to walk away from you. That's how you start to forgive yourself and let go of the people that have wronged you. Okay. Now, Lynn, if you're unable to forgive someone, this is me talking about that. I felt attacked. I felt misunderstood. I was angry. I was hurt. Someone carried a resentment for 25 years. And then when I was in a very vulnerable position, comes in and just dumps it on me, pointing fingers and accusing, and for some story that was their truth almost 30 years ago. And I sat in that for a long time. But in that moment, I asked and begged for forgiveness because I knew that was the only way to relieve the pain that I was experiencing, and some pain that they must have experienced that they came attacking me with, that they felt justified in attacking me with. And so I begged for forgiveness, and that was a divine intervention because nothing in me wanted to beg for forgiveness from people who I felt were attacking me. Does that make sense to you? Are you following this? So when that happened to me, something magical in me said, this is the key to everything. When you forgive and you humble yourself and you get on your knees, even to your enemies, not that you want to put your neck out in front of your enemies so they could chop it. That's not what I mean, or jump in front of the bus for them, but literally humble yourself and say, I apparently have wronged you in some way that I am unconscious about and unclear about. And I don't know how I did that, but please, I am begging you in your heart to forgive me. I never meant you harm. I never meant to do you harm. That is so powerful. And the person that's getting liberated is you. That's the beauty of it. It took me a year to figure out. I don't care if they don't forgive me. They haven't. And they awesomely will never. They are awesome in that conviction to stick to the need to make me the bad guy, and to put me on that ledge and just leave me there, they can't see that I'm not the person that they created in their mind. People will do that with you out of jealousy, out of resentment, out of envy, out of ignorance, out of misperception or misguided information. They'll make up a story that this is who you are, and I don't think you're any better than that or any different than that. They label you. They stick you out to pasture, and then they never forgive. So you got to forgive. Exactly right, Lynn? You're so with me. Thank you, Mary. If I didn't forgive me, then I would be lost in the story. I had at some point let go of the need for you to forgive me. I am powerless over you. We are powerless over people, places, and things. I can't change how you feel about me. And if I wronged you and I begged you and asked you for forgiveness, that is all I am required to do. That is all that God, the universe, my mother, or anyone would ask of me to do spiritually. And if you can't accept and be gracious humbly when someone is begging for your forgiveness, you have a bigger issue. Your resentment is huge and mine pales in comparison. Your anger is out of control. Your lack of gratitude and sincerity and compassion is lost, and you are lost. If you need to crucify somebody like that by not forgiving them, then you have a bigger issue than I ever had, and I need to let you go, and I need to distance myself from you. Do you think you gain anything by not forgiving people? My God, I'm getting so preachy, you guys. I am like on fire about this topic. Damn it. So, yes. Very near and dear to my heart, if you couldn't tell, and if I didn't make that really obvious to you right now. If you can't forgive me, then I need to let you go. That is the story. That is the story for relationships, marriages, children, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, in-laws, all kinds of, every one of them, and cousins and whoever else. So if mine are watching, none of this is about any of y'all. It really isn't. It's not about any of you that are watching. Okay, Lynn, so helpful. Thank you. Your words are very powerful. Thank you, Mary. Deborah Harris. No, this is so awesome. Thank you, Deborah, because I'm like, I'm on fire about it, you guys. So tell me other situations where you struggle to forgive. I struggle to forgive these family members who I really in my heart love, but they just can't receive the love from me. They never feel it's enough. I never get it right with them. I am always wrong. You didn't say hi. You didn't come over and hug me. You were talking to everybody else but me. You were ignoring me. These are not my realities, but those are their realities and how they perceive me. And then I get attacked for it. And I'm like, dude, I was like out of my mind. I was exhausted. I hadn't slept the night before, or I didn't notice that you wanted to talk to me, or I was having great conversation with these other people that I never see. And since I see you more frequently, I just chose to speak to them. Like my reality was much more innocent in a way. I mean, that was my reality. Like I didn't have that negative, evil, weird, ha ha ha, I'm trying to hurt you inside of me, but that's how I was perceived. So there you go. There you have it, Lynn. Because someone is able to forgive me for something I could not control, I feel I have somehow become more forgiving of others. Is that weird? No. Lead by example. Someone showed you the grace of forgiveness. And in my life, I have had plenty of people that have been kind and generous to forgive me when I've made really stupid, big mistakes, including my parents. And by them showing forgiveness and not judging me, that saved me. I mean, it taught me so much about how to be gracious and grateful and forgive others. Aren't we all human after all? Aren't we all, not able, I meant, aren't we all human? I talk about this all the time. We're not perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. And we have to accept all of our imperfections, and we have to accept all of the mistakes that we make. And we have to forgive ourselves first before forgiving anybody will ever be possible. I don't know if that resonates with what you said, Lynn. I hope so. But I became a heck of a lot more forgiving after I got cancer. I can tell you that. I can't waste time with feeling resentment towards myself or other people. It's too painful. And it's ludicrous because here I am resenting people that I really love and care about and want to be close to. And why am I holding them to some standard that I can't even meet for myself? Like, why are we judge and jury over other people? Why? Because we're perfect? No, that's so not the case for any of us, right? And there's something very freeing and very liberating about forgiving each other. It really is divine. I mean, I was very stunned to discover, like, sometimes, I don't know, those of you who are in recovery and you have to do a 4-step, or you have to make a living amends and go to somebody and be like, hey, dude, seriously, when I lived in your house, cheated on you, I slept with your wife and I stole money from you, and I'd like to make a living amends about it now, right? Let's pray that person has had some exercise in forgiveness when you show up on that door with that reality. But sometimes in making amends and living amends, we throw ourselves on the sword to people who have been waiting for us to show up and ask for those amends just so that they don't forgive. So that they can now hold over your head. Oh, you thought you won and you pulled one over on me and I always knew. Now you're going to pay for it because I'm going to hold this resentment and I'm going to tell you over and over again what a piece of crap I think you are. And I'm not going to forgive you because they think they're going to hurt us more. And the sad truth is that we've already forgiven ourselves. And when someone comes to you humbly and begging for forgiveness, they already have forgiveness in their heart for themselves. And they're making a living amends. And if you choose to chastise and beat them up about that, then you're damaged. And you're doing more damage to yourself than you think or than you recognize than you're doing to them. Because they are acting in grace and they are acting divinely and they are showing their humility and their humanity. And when someone comes to you like that, it is godlike to then love them and embrace them. No matter how much anger and hurt you've had in your heart, when someone comes to you wounded and admits to a fault and a flaw and admits to a mistake and you love them, that's very godlike. So what can I say? Hi, Anthony. I think one can forgive, but you cannot accept the behavior or trust them. What do you guys think about that? That's a good one, Anthony. Fred Peltz watching from the Poconos in Pennsylvania. Hey, look, I look Pocono-ish. I've got my little scarf on in California. It's probably 60 degrees here, and we're so ridiculous. A little cold weather, and we just like get all bundled up. I got 3 layers on. Sitting inside my house. Anthony, I want to answer that, and you guys comment to Anthony. He says that doesn't mean you can accept or trust the behavior. I agree with Anthony 100%. What do you guys think? Trust again is very hard. Yes. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean trust. Forgiveness is one subject, trust is another. You can forgive someone and let go of the resentment in your heart and not feel hurt anymore, but say, because the damage has been done, I don't feel safe with you. I don't trust that you will respect me, honor me, and follow through with your commitments. So I need to keep distance from you. That is fine. Absolutely fine. But the issue that I had earlier was saying if someone comes to you and humbly asks for forgiveness and you keep holding the resentment towards them, not only don't you trust them, you won't give them a pass. You won't let them, be liberated from this horrible dilemma between the two of you, right? So yeah, you don't have to trust them again. No. And you don't have to accept the behavior. You don't even have to like the behavior, but you can forgive it. Does that make sense? Exactly. Somebody's saying exactly. Freezing rain. Oh, I'm so sorry, Fred. I hope you're inside and it's cozy and you got some fire in the wood in the fireplace and some hot chocolate. Excuse my typing. No problem, Anthony. I hope I read it. Okay. So anyone else? Hard to accept behavior or to trust after someone's betrayed you. How do you forgive that? Be the bigger person. It don't happen overnight. It did not happen to me overnight. I was the queen of hanging on to resentment. I remember having a resentment towards a girlfriend in my 20s that she didn't even know about, one of my closest friends. And I held on to that tiger for 2 years. And then one day we get in an argument and I unleashed it on her. And she looked at me like I was psychotic. I will never forget her face, okay? So I needed to communicate that to her. Instead of attacking her 2 years later, I needed to say, when you said this, it hurt my feelings. We're responsible to communicate with people so that forgiveness can happen on our end and on their end. So if we don't communicate and we hold resentment and we don't forgive, that is on us. That has nothing to do with what the other person is doing or not. Maybe they have no clue that they have wronged you and that you are expecting an apology because you never told them when they hurt your feelings or when they looked at you weird or talked down to you, so you thought, or ignored you, or whatever your pain is about them, okay? What if they are dead and you can't do that? Terry's asking like a serious question. Wow, okay, so so many people in my life has passed. You know, my godfather committed suicide. I never got to have a conversation with him about that. I had a friend in high school who died in a car accident. Didn't get to talk to him about that. And the other driver was intoxicated. There's people, I've had friends die of AIDS and didn't get to say my goodbyes or have conversations. There's people that die and have tragedies, and it's not always because of a tragedy, but you've harbored some resentment. Maybe they hurt you or wronged you, lied to you, beat you or abused you as a child. Maybe they betrayed you in some way. They left you when you needed them most. They didn't support you when you were hurting and struggling, and they held their hands up in judgment of you, and now they're gone. They're not gone. Their body's physically gone, but you talking about them and feeling that they are with you right now. You're holding them right here with you right now. Their spirit is not free, and neither is yours if you believe in any of that stuff. But at least symbolically, if you don't believe in it in spiritual or divine terms, you're holding them hostage to you, and you to them. So you're keeping them close by not being able to have a dialogue or conversation about it. But if you need to, like this morning I had a girl in therapy and she had an issue with her cousin, and she, in her mind, the cousin wasn't there, but she started to say the things that she always needed and wanted to say to this cousin who had violated her trust. And had hurt her deeply because she looked up to him and she kind of had a little crush on her cousin, and it changed her and rocked her world as a young teenage girl. So you have to have that conversation, even if that person has passed. You can write them a letter and say, I've never forgiven you for this, or I have never forgotten what you did to me, and I don't want to hold on to this and take this to my grave. So I am burying this right now. And you take that letter and you write every mean, nasty, hurtful, whatever you need to say it, or every loving, sweet, kind thing, whatever it is, and you bury it in the ground. Terry, if it's your mom and dad, then yes, then you write letters to them. I had a girlfriend that it's going to be about 4 years ago. Both her parents died at the same time. They were in an airplane traveling, and they were still quite young. They were, I believe, in their mid-60s, and very vibrant people who were very much alive. She lost them both at the same time, and there was no time for them to say goodbye. They're right here with you, and you can talk to them anytime that you wish. And you say to them, if they hurt you, tell them about that hurt and say, I need to let this go, and I'm going to hold on to the parts of you that I love, that matter to me. I'm going to honor you by letting go of this, in a sense, okay? Everybody has good and bad. So look for whatever good they passed on to you. Thanks to you, I have a work ethic. Thanks to you, I show up in the morning and, get on my knees. Thanks to you being so hard on me, I become very educated and I work really hard for myself. Whatever your thing is to love about your parents, even if you had crappy parents or abusive parents, find that thing that you love about them, what you can hold on to and what they taught you. Maybe they taught you courage and bravery because they made you be so independent when you weren't ready. Now, if they were horrific and awful and abused you, then let them go. Say, I am letting go of the parents that I never needed so I can make space for the parents that I really needed and wanted. Okay? Let go of the parents that you don't need. Embrace the parents that you do need. Your friends and loved ones, or your spouses or your partners, can be very parental. They can fill the space where mom and dad didn't. They can show up where they didn't, and they can fill in that void, and you can allow that. You can say, my husband is more of a father to me than my father ever was, and that's okay. Not that you want him to be a daddy, although some of you might want your spouse to be a daddy, but I don't mean it like that. I mean it like in nurturing and loving you and being supportive and being 100%. Thank you. Somebody sending kisses from, oh my God, where are you from? Russia, Ukraine? You tell me. That's beautiful. I wish I could read that. That is amazing. So, hi you all. So anyways, did you follow me, Terry? So send a prayer, send love, write a letter to your parents, let them go. You know, put a letter in a balloon and release it out into the universe, or light it on fire, whatever it is that you need to let go of and hang on to. My dad passed 2 years ago, but there's so much of him that I want to celebrate. I just had a conversation with my daughter 2 nights about some of the not so good things that he did in his lifetime. He certainly wasn't perfect. And by reviewing that with her, she was shocked, because she's like, oh my God, you adore him. He's your person. He's your favorite. And I go, yes, because I've allowed myself to only embrace all of the good that he gave me. And when my dad was buried, if there was any bad, I buried it with him. Hi, Jackie. So anyways, I want you to love the people that you're with, to honor them, to know that you have the right and you deserve to be loved and nurtured by the people in your life. And if there's people in your life have wronged you and haven't nurtured you and haven't been there for you, let them go, whether they're living or deceased. Tell yourself, I deserve to free up my mind, my body, and my spirit to be open to love again. I don't want to live tortured because I'm missing my parents who I thought were perfect, or I'm missing my parents that I thought were abusive. I don't know which case you are, Terry, so I'm guessing and filling in the blanks. You can share more if you want to. You don't have to. But please know, oh, Terry's smiling and sending a happy face with hearts. Little eye hearts. Okay, Lynn, you're awesome. Thank you, Lynn. Please know that you have the right to be loved. And please know that you don't hang on to and stay with people that don't love and respect you. Don't stay where you're not wanted. Okay? Don't remain there. And if it's history of people that have hurt you, write their names, write it down, write letters to all of them, and put it in a fire and let it go, or throw it out into the ocean. Sorry, I'm not encouraging literally, but symbolically it would be really helpful for you to do that. Don't hang on to what doesn't serve you. Forgiveness is about not holding on to what doesn't serve you. What good does it do you to still be angry at your loser ex-husband? Really, who maybe you don't even see anymore, for all the crap that he did? What good does it do you? It's consuming your mind and your body. And when your mind and your body, like I started the live earlier with a question from Lynn, what happens when you don't forgive over time? Your body gets consumed, and the effects of it will show up somewhere, in some disease somewhere. And who knows, maybe, oh, for love, thank you. And who knows if my darn cancer came from stuff that was consuming me, emotional pain that I hadn't let go of. I know it's genetic, the scientists and the doctors that are out there. I'm not totally out there and hooky and kooky, but I believe in both. I believe in divine intervention and the things that cannot be explained by science. And I believe in science, and I believe science is divine. So I understand that my cancer was genetic and that I may have been predisposed for it, but I think all the stressors in my life and not forgiving people and having people in my life that didn't honor and respect me activated that cancer and made it go cuckoo in my body and spread it. So now you can understand why I'm very motivated for forgiveness, because if I believe that, then I don't want to carry any more resentment or trauma in my heart than I have to. And for all the years that I carried resentment to people in my family, or even my parents, or my brother, if he's watching, as you know, and I've talked to him about that in recent years, about stuff that I hung on to that I didn't need to hang on to from our childhood, is I can't hang on to that stuff. It's not healthy. And it probably did affect my health and my hormones and the stress on my body that ultimately activated that cancer. So here's the moral of this story for tonight. Forgiveness starts with you. Forgiveness starts with liberating your spirit from the resentment of other people's bad, nasty, horrible attitudes towards you or things they've ever done to wrong you. Be the bigger person, because you will gain from that. You will be elevated by that. Your life will change by being in forgiveness. And it's amazing when you do that, people gravitate you even more, gravitate towards you. And maybe those people who have never forgiven you for things will even come back and realize that they were wrong. And I pray for that day when I witness the people that have wronged me that I spoke of earlier coming back to me and actually saying, well, I was wrong, and will you forgive me? Because I am so ready for that. My heart completely open. And unlike them, I will not chastise them and reject them and make them feel badly about asking for forgiveness. I will open my arms to them. So I had colon cancer since then, bottled or boiled my water. Oh, that's so awesome, Anthony, that you do that. So I've always been a freak, nutrition freak and vegan. And now I'm kind of vegetarian vegan because my body's doing something weird. I don't know with the whole vegan thing. But water, I have all recycled water in my house. I have a water filtering system, and I've had that for 20 something years. And I only drink water that's in here is filtered, and I carry it with me. And don't drink water that's in plastic that's been sitting and has any temperature change in your car. And if someone else brought it to you, you have no idea how long that it hit a certain temperature, because then it releases those chemicals that cause cancer. So I've started carrying metal, and I carry glass bottles with me. Isn't this nice? We're having a little lecture and a little science study on cancer. But there's ways to prevent it in your life, and reducing your stress is one of them. So, but please be healthy, take care of your body, forgive yourself for anything you've done in your past. Forgive yourself for not taking care of yourself better when you were younger, and hang on to whatever little youth, little sanity and abilities that you have at this stage of your life. Love yourself exactly where you're at, for whatever wrinkles you got on your face, or weight that you've gained, or husbands that you've lost, or dogs that you don't take care of. Oh, that's just my story. You know, forgive yourself for being human. Forgive yourself for being imperfect. Know that you are absolutely the perfect you, and the only you on the planet that is you. No one else can be you. So you are perfect in essence, and anyone else would be just a sloppy second copy of you and who you are. Hi, Charlotte. It's a blast from my past. So I know you're just jumping on here, but I'm going to be signing off. I want you to send more comments. Thank you, Mary, for always supporting me and being grateful for this. By the way, where's the puppy? I'm upstairs, and I did leave the door open in case Bambi wanted to, cruise on up here, but he gets scared of noises, so all my loud talking might have scared him off. And Bambi's long due for an appearance, so maybe next time I'll bring Bambi up here with me, but he's real hyper, so we'll see if he can manage being in here with me this long. Send me your comments, and lots of you have done that, and I'm so grateful. A lot of you have sent me topics, and this was one of them, so I'm just going to keep going down the list of people sending me topics. Like if all of a sudden you're struggling something during the week, send me a message and say, oh my God, Gina, talk about this on Thursday. I went live last Sunday just spontaneously and did a whole thing on, I don't even know what it was about. I think it was a little bit about forgiveness and loving yourself. So check that one out. They're all on my page, and they're all on YouTube. You can like my page, Ask Gina. You can also find me on Instagram, Gina Tabrizy. I'm on Facebook and here and social media. I'm on Harmony Heals. That's my business. But this is my passion. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm hoping to continue to do for a long time. I have a hair in my mouth. So send me your topics, send me your comments. If you feel so compelled, share this with loved ones, family, and friends and say, oh my God, I think you need to check this woman out. Like, she's got your number. Or subtly just go, oh, I saw something that was really interesting. I think it could help you. And then send them my link and let them watch it. And I keep telling my clients it's like free counseling. So why not take it all in? Okay. Thank you all for watching again. I probably will pop off spontaneously sometime. I don't think I'll do that this weekend because I did last and I actually have a little bit of a sore throat, so I'm going to take care of that. But next week, I'll be here Thursday at 6 p.m. and maybe sometime during the week, I'll just go live, just randomly. So look for me, okay? I send you love, all of you. Lots of love and healing and forgiveness for all of you. And everything that you're going through or have been through that you're still harboring and holding on to. And I'm believing that you can let these things go and be liberated from that. And forgive yourselves first. And then you'll be able to forgive others, okay? Thank you. Thanks for all the love. Especially you, Mary. Sending all the love. You love the library? Oh, thank you. You guys vote too. If you're my people that have been on here regular, here's the library room. And I have a very bright room that I was in on Sunday. It's like a gray. And then I have the blue room that I've been in for a while. Okay, I'll let you guys go. Have a good night. See you soon.